The Trojan sun, a malevolent deity, beat down upon the battlefield, its relentless glare scorching the earth and baking the blood that stained the ground crimson. 9 years of war had carved deep trenches across the Trojan plains, each scar a testament to the fallen heroes who had breathed their last on this cursed soil. Among the Greek ranks, a storm brewed within the heart of Achilles, the mightiest warrior of their kind. His fury, a tempestuous sea whipped into a frenzy by a single, searing act of disrespect, threatened to engulf all in its path. Agamemnon, the king of men and leader of the Greek forces, had snatched away Briseis, a woman Achilles had claimed as his prize of war. This brazen disregard for the warrior's honor was an insult that echoed through the very foundations of the Greek camp. Achilles, his eyes burning with the fires of rage, withdrew from the battlefield. His Myrmidons, an elite band of warriors renowned for their ferocity, followed their leader's lead. Their absence, a gaping wound in the Greek army, left the remaining forces vulnerable. The once mighty assaults faltered, their victories turning to dust. The Greeks, accustomed to the sight of Achilles' unstoppable charge and the fear it instilled in the Trojan ranks, were left exposed. Their morale plummeted as Trojan warriors, emboldened by the absence of their greatest foe, began to press their advantage. Panic gnawed at the edges of the Greek camp, whispers of defeat carried on the wind. Agamemnon, the architect of this calamity, watched with dawning horror as the consequences of his pride unfolded. He had gambled with the fate of the entire war for a petty act of vengeance, and now the dice were rolling against him. Shame gnawed at his heart, a bitter aftertaste to his arrogance. Desperate to mend the rift he had created, Agamemnon dispatched a delegation of emissaries to Achilles. They carried with them gifts beyond measure, gold, jewels, even the return of Briseis. The emissaries, men of high standing and renowned eloquence, approached Achilles with pleas and promises, their voices laced with desperation. Achilles, however, remained unmoved. His heart, hardened by the flames of anger, refused any offer that did not fully restore his honor. He demanded not just the return of Briseis, but a public apology from Agamemnon, a gesture that would acknowledge the gravity of the insult inflicted upon the greatest warrior of the Greeks. Days bled into weeks, and the Greeks continued to suffer. The absence of Achilles, a void that no other warrior could fill, had tilted the scales of the war. The Trojans, sensing weakness in their enemy, launched relentless attacks, pushing the Greek forces back towards their ships. The cries of the wounded echoed across the battlefield, a constant reminder of the price being paid for Agamemnon's folly. The once proud Greek camp, now shrouded in despair, became a breeding ground for discontent. Murmurs of rebellion against Agamemnon's leadership began to surface, fueled by the belief that their king had abandoned them in their hour of need. News of the Greeks' plight reached the celestial halls of Mount Olympus. The gods, ever watchful of the affairs of mortals, witnessed the unfolding drama with a mixture of amusement and concern. Thetis, the sea goddess and mother of Achilles, could bear the sight of her son's suffering no longer. With a heart heavy with sorrow, she rose from the depths of the ocean and ascended to the peak of Olympus. There she knelt before Zeus, the king of gods, and poured out her anguish. "O Zeus, ruler of the heavens," she pleaded, "witness the injustice inflicted upon my son. Agamemnon, blinded by his pride, has brought shame upon the Greeks and unleashed suffering upon Achilles. Grant him vengeance, let the Greeks feel the sting of their leader's folly." Zeus, his brow furrowed with the weight of fate, considered Thetis' plea. He saw the potential for a grander story to unfold, a tapestry woven with the threads of war, heroism, and ultimately, redemption. With a nod, he agreed to Thetis' request, setting in motion a chain of events that would reshape the battlefield and forever alter the course of the Trojan War. Thus, the seeds of a tragedy of epic proportions were sown. The wrath of Achilles, a storm unleashed, would send heroes crashing down and rewrite the narrative of the war. It was a tale of pride, of honor, and the devastating consequences of a warrior's rage, a saga that would forever echo through the halls of Olympus and the hearts of men. This internal storm within Achilles was not simply a matter of wounded pride. It was a tempestuous maelstrom fueled by a sense of cosmic injustice. Achilles, a demigod, son of the sea goddess Thetis, believed himself destined for greatness. To have his honor so blatantly disregarded was not just an insult to a warrior, but a transgression against the very fabric of his being. The despair of his myrmidons mirrored their leader's turmoil. They were not merely soldiers, but a band of brothers, their loyalty to Achilles absolute. To be denied the glory of battle alongside their leader was a torment far greater than any physical hardship. Their frustration simmered, a volatile element within the already volatile Greek camp. The growing chaos within the Greek camp was not merely a matter of dwindling morale. The Greeks, accustomed to victory under Achilles' leadership, were now faced with the prospect of defeat. Fear and despair festered, breeding resentment towards Agamemnon, the man who had brought them to this precipice. Whispers of rebellion, once unthinkable, began to take root, threatening to fracture the fragile unity of the Greek forces. Agamemnon's internal torment was a tapestry woven with shame, fear, and desperation. He had gambled and lost, his pride a millstone around his neck. The weight of his actions pressed down upon him, the suffering of his men a constant reminder of his folly. His desperation to appease Achilles was not just a matter of restoring order, but a desperate attempt to salvage his own honor and avert the impending disaster he had unleashed. The whispers and manipulations of the gods added another layer to this already volatile situation. Hera, known for her animosity towards Troy, saw an opportunity to further her agenda by subtly encouraging Thetis to seek vengeance. Apollo, whose priest Chryses was, harbored a grudge against Agamemnon for not returning Chryses and might have subtly influenced events to punish the Greek leader further. The omens and prophecies that began to swirl around the Greek camp were not mere happenstance. A flock of birds flying in an unusual pattern, the sudden appearance of a comet streaking across the night sky. These were harbingers of the devastation to come. They were whispers from the fates, grim portents of the impending storm that Achilles' wrath would unleash. The story of Achilles' wrath was just beginning, a single act of pride igniting a fire that would consume not just individuals, but the very fabric of the war itself. It was a tale waiting to be sung, a song of heroes and gods, of love and loss, of fury and redemption, a saga that would forever be etched in the annals of human memory. The storm was brewing, and the world held its breath, waiting for the moment Achilles would unleash his fury upon the Trojan battlefield. Thank you for watching. Please comment below what you would like to see next.